They used him, then erased him, the sad reality of SD Jones. That's the story we're telling today. Alfonso Special Delivery Jones wasn't just a body in the ring. He was a staple of the WWF from the mid-70s through the late 80s, wrestling against legends, carrying talent, and doing the work most stars refused. Yet despite his years of loyalty, the company rarely rewarded him, and the spotlight barely touched him. Jones came from Jamaica, trained under Johnny Rodz in New York, and worked every territory that would take him. From the Caribbean to the mid-Atlantic, he was a reliable hand, respected by peers, and one of the few wrestlers who could step into any match and make it look good. But reliability doesn't sell merch, and it didn't earn him marquee status. Today, we're breaking down his early life, territory days, WWF run, memorable feuds, friendships, and how he was remembered after the ropes came down. This is SD Jones, a man everyone used, but few ever really remembered. SD Jones was born Alfonso Jones in Kingston, Jamaica on March 30th, 1945. He moved to the United States as a young man, settling in New York City. Wrestling wasn't the first plan. He worked regular jobs, but like many from that New York scene, he found his way to Johnny Rodz, the veteran trainer known for producing workhorses. Rodz taught him the old school way: take bumps, earn respect, and don't complain. Jones learned fast and debuted in the early 1970s. He had a big frame, a natural smile, and real athleticism. That combination made him valuable to promoters, looking for someone who could make their stars look strong without looking weak himself. He started in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, the pre-WWE territory run by Vince McMahon Sr. He also spent time in Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Puerto Rico's World Wrestling Council, and Los Angeles under Mike LeBell. Jones became a steady presence wherever he went. In the territories, fans knew him as a dependable face, the guy who'd give a good fight even if he didn't win. His matches with Ernie Ladd, Pedro Morales, and Don Morocco made him a recognizable name in multiple regions. He wasn't flashy, but he was everywhere. That's the thing about Jones. He built a career out of showing up, doing business right, and earning the locker room's trust. Promoters didn't fear him. They relied on him. Wrestlers didn't hate him. They respected him. He didn't make headlines, but in the 1970s wrestling scene, you didn't need a title to make a living. You just needed to keep getting booked. And Jones always was. By the mid-1970s, SD Jones was already a familiar face on the East Coast wrestling circuit. When Vince McMahon Jr. began expanding, Jones was brought in full-time. He wasn't the star. He was the support beam that held everyone else up. He worked nearly every major name of the era: Greg Valentine, Big John Studd, Ken Patera, and the Iron Sheik. If a heel needed a credible opponent to look dangerous against, Jones was the call. Fans remember him for the WrestleMania 1 match against King Kong Bundy, officially listed as lasting only 9 seconds, though it really ran closer to 25. It became one of the shortest matches in WrestleMania history. Jones laughed about it later, saying, "That's what they wanted, so I gave it to them." The company used the moment for shock value. Bundy looked unstoppable, and Jones was the one who made it happen. Throughout the 1980s, he stayed loyal to the WWF, working hundreds of shows per year, often on television tapings and house shows. He was never booked as enhancement talent in the cruel sense. He was enhancement with respect. That distinction mattered. Jones' consistency was unmatched. While others jumped ship for bigger paydays or better pushes, he stayed loyal. He was part of the touring heartbeat of the WWF's national expansion, representing the kind of worker the business depended on but rarely celebrated. Behind the curtain, he knew his role. He didn't politic, didn't kiss ass, and didn't whine about his spot. Vince Sr. liked him, the locker room liked him, and even the fans who barely saw him win still remembered him. WrestleMania made him famous for 9 seconds, but those 9 seconds represented 15 years of professional loyalty. SD Jones didn't get long-term storylines, but he still had rivalries that fans remembered. They weren't built on mic work or grudges. They were built on his consistency in the ring. In the late 70s, Jones worked often with Ken Patera, the arrogant Olympian powerlifter. Their matches were a classic formula: Patera bullying his way through opponents, Jones taking the punishment, then firing up the crowd with comebacks that made people forget it wasn't supposed to be his night. He didn't always win, but the fans reacted every time. He also tangled with Greg the Hammer Valentine, a matchup that got plenty of airtime on WWF television. Valentine worked a stiff, methodical style, and Jones sold it like it hurt his soul. The matches looked real because they practically were. Valentine respected Jones's toughness, saying privately that he could trust him in any house show main event slot if needed. Another strong feud came against the Iron Sheik in the mid-80s. Sheik loved jawing at fans, and Jones was the perfect foil, proud, straight-shooting, and easy for the crowd to rally behind. Their matches were physical, simple, and always got heat. Jones even teamed occasionally with Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson, giving the WWF fans an early look at the strength of its black talent lineup before diversity was even part of the company's vocabulary. He was never booked to win feuds, but he always made them watchable. In an era where egos ran wild, SD didn't need catchphrases or fireworks. He had timing, toughness, and respect from opponents who knew the real deal when they saw it. He wasn't a headline feud guy, he was the guy who made the headlines believable. Unlike many in his era, SD didn't get wrapped up in backstage drama. He was known for being polite, dependable, and a solid presence who lifted morale rather than drained it. If wrestling was a high school cafeteria, Jones sat at the neutral table, respected by heels and baby faces, older guys and rookies. No ego, no bitterness. He didn't need to be the loudest voice in the room. In an industry addicted to attention, SD Jones earned something rarer: peace. If you're still here, you probably respect the guys who built the ring but never got their flowers. So hit like, drop a subscribe, and keep watching as we break down the names WWE cashed in on and quietly buried after. Real stories, no kayfabe. SD Jones stepped away from the WWF spotlight in the late 1980s. He wrestled a few more years in the independents and in Puerto Rico for Carlos Colon's WWC, then retired quietly. No farewell match, no big send-off. He just left the same way he worked, humble and professional. After retirement, he lived in North Carolina and stayed connected to the sport, occasionally appearing at conventions. He was respected by everyone who shared a locker room with him. Jones passed away on October 26, 2008, at age 63, from natural causes. In 2019, WWE honored him in the Hall of Fame Legacy Wing, finally giving him recognition for years of loyalty and consistency. He didn't get the headlines, but his reputation lasted longer than most who did. SD Jones was proof that class outlives fame. After decades of loyalty to the WWF, SD Jones quietly faded from the spotlight. No farewell, no grand send-off, nothing. He worked the independents, made small appearances, and trained a few hopefuls who probably had no clue they were learning from one of the most dependable workers Vince ever had. By the late 1990s, SD had stepped away completely, living a modest life in Antigua before passing away in 2008 at just 63. The WWF gave him a brief Hall of Fame mention that felt more like an afterthought than a tribute. They used him as enhancement talent for years, then erased his name when the lights dimmed. In shoot terms, SD Jones deserved better. He was loyal, safe, and respected by everyone who mattered. The company just didn't treat him like it. That's the sad reality. Thanks for watching.